More than 2,000 years ago, one man did the impossible. He crossed deadly mountains with an army, horses and war elephants. And with one bold move, he made Rome tremble. His name was Hannibal Barca, a commander so brilliant even his enemies feared his mind. And this is the story of the man who almost destroyed Rome. At that time, two great powers ruled the Mediterranean world. In North Africa stood the mighty city of Carthage. Across the sea stood its greatest enemy, Rome. For years, these two empires fought for power, trade, and survival. Ships burned, armies marched, and thousands lost their lives. But the greatest chapter of this war was still to come. Hannibal was born into war. His father, Hannibal Barca, was one of Carthage's greatest generals. From childhood, Hannibal learned that Rome was the enemy. One day, while he was still a young boy, his father brought him to a sacred altar. There, Hannibal placed his hand before the gods and made a promise. He would never be a friend of Rome. Years passed, and the boy became a warrior. He studied battles, trained soldiers, and earned the respect of his men. Soon, Hannibal became the leader of Carthage's army. But he didn't want a simple victory. He wanted to strike Rome in a way nobody could imagine, and his plan would shock the ancient world. Rome expected an attack from the sea. That was how wars had always been fought. But Hannibal chose a path no one believed possible. He gathered nearly 50,000 soldiers, thousands of horses, and dozens of elephants. Then, he began a journey that would become legend. He marched north toward the mountains. Ahead of him stood the mighty Alps. Frozen peaks, deadly cliffs, and endless snow blocked the way. Many believed no army could survive. Snow buried his soldiers, rocks crushed his men, and freezing winds cut through the camp. Food ran low, animals died, and many never reached the other side. But Hannibal kept moving forward. When his army finally descended from the mountains, Italy stood before them. Roman scouts could hardly believe what they were seeing. Hannibal had done the impossible. News spread across Rome like wildfire. An enemy army had crossed the mountains, and elephants were marching on Italian soil. Fear filled the streets, and panic reached the Senate. Rome had faced many enemies before, but never one like Hannibal. In 216 BC, near Cannae, Rome prepared for its greatest battle. Nearly 80,000 Roman soldiers marched into the field. They believed victory was certain. Hannibal had fewer men, but he had something more dangerous. He had patience, strategy, and a mind built for war. And he was about to trap an empire. As the Romans pushed forward, Hannibal's center slowly moved back. The Romans thought they were winning, but it was exactly what Hannibal wanted. Then suddenly, his armies closed from both sides. Roman soldiers found themselves surrounded on every direction. Within hours, the battlefield became a massacre. Thousands fell that day. One of Rome's greatest armies was destroyed, and Hannibal's name became legend. After Cannae, Rome was weak, wounded, and terrified. Its people feared that the city itself would soon fall. The road to Rome seemed open, but Hannibal never attacked the city. Some say he lacked supplies, others say he lacked reinforcements, and historians still debate that decision today. Years passed, and Rome slowly recovered. They studied Hannibal, learned from him, and adapted. Then they brought the war back to Carthage, At the Battle of Zama, Hannibal faced Rome one final time. For the first time in his life, his strategy failed, and the great general was defeated. He never destroyed Rome, but he came closer than almost anyone in history. And even today, military leaders study his genius, because Hannibal was more than a general, more than a warrior. He was a legend.